I'm going to show you how to install these 1600 design 10-degree legs on the Ikea Kallax. This specific leg can be installed with the Kallax either horizontal or vertical, but the kits are different. So the first thing you're going to want to do is determine which orientation your Kallax will be in. Now obviously this one's horizontal, but some of these models are square, so it's not obvious. So to be more specific, what we're considering the horizontal position is when this side panel goes all the way top to bottom and you see the installation screw from the side. That's going to be considered the horizontal position. So choose your kit accordingly, and we can go ahead and flip this unit over and get started with the installation. Okay, I'm first going to show you how to install these legs with the Ikea Kallax in the vertical position, which means the installation bolt will be visible on the bottom panel. Your kit will come with all of the screws that you need, as well as a driver bit to install those screws. But the key to installing anything on the Kallax is understanding where the solid wood in these panels are. Each of these thick panels has a piece of wood that's about 3/4 of an inch thick running around the entire perimeter of the panels. The rest of the panel is hollow with a honeycomb structure. And so when installing in the vertical position, and I've drawn in pencil here to illustrate where that solid wood is, if we put our leg in position, the screws are actually going to miss that solid wood. They're going to go right down the side of it. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to drill all the way through this panel and screw into the solid wood that is at the end of what is now the side panel. And that's why on your vertical kits, these screw holes will be drilled out deeper to allow those screws to reach all the way through the bottom and screw into the solid wood in your side panel. So with your leg in position, you'll notice that we do have that installation bolt to contend with, but it's really not a problem. In this vertical position, you can just butt the leg up right to that bolt, and that pretty much puts the leg where you want it anyway, so that the leg is set back from the front edge of the Kallax. Now on the other orientation, you do have the option to move that leg all the way out to the front of the unit, and that does provide a different look. But in the vertical position, you're just going to butt up against that bolt, and with the leg in position, you're going to need a drill and a 3/32 drill bit, and you're simply going to pre-drill the holes through each of those locations. With the holes drilled, you can now drop in the screws that are provided with your kit and install the driver bit that came with your kit and drive these screws home. Now, the tip I'm going to give you is to not over tighten these screws. If you over tighten them, you could strip out the wood that you're screwing into. So just snug them up, and when they feel like they're making good contact, you can stop. Just take your time and go nice and slow. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to install the legs when the Kallax is in the horizontal position. As you can tell, this unit has had a lot of legs installed on it, so there's a lot of pre-existing holes. But the horizontal position is easier because we have a solid strip of wood running the entire length of what is now our side panel. And so we can position our leg anywhere we like in this orientation. With the leg all the way out to the corner, the bottom of your leg will be out past the front of the Kallax, which is kind of a cool look. But you can basically just choose the location you prefer and then go ahead and pre-drill those holes just like we did in the vertical position, only we only need to go down about 3/4 of an inch into this panel. Okay, with all 4 legs installed, the final thing you're going to want to consider is adding a center support to your Kallax. As I mentioned, these panels are mostly hollow with a honeycomb structure, so they're not incredibly strong, and these are designed to sit on the floor. So if you're going to raise them up on legs, you're going to want to add some center support to avoid sagging in the middle. My recommendation is for Kallax units that are 2 to 3 compartments wide, the center support is optional, just use your best judgment. But for the units that are 4 or 5 compartments wide, like this one, you're definitely going to want at least one center support. And those center supports are going to need to be installed directly below one of the divider panels, because that's what we're going to screw into. Now with this leg kit, you can simply use another identical leg as a center support, and we can install that out in the middle. I'm going to want to install that so that the horizontal part is pointing towards the rear of the cabinet, so you don't see it as much. But whether you're installing vertical or horizontal, your center legs will come with those deeper screw holes, because in the middle we are going to have to drill through this panel and reach this divider panel to screw into solid wood. So let's get started with that. Okay, so as you can tell on this particular unit, we already have a couple of holes for a center leg drilled, but drilling those legs is as simple as measuring from the end of your unit to the center of the divider that you're going to screw into and marking those hole locations out here in the middle. The one tip I want to give you is that when you go to drill those holes, position yourself so that you can see the drill bit and that divider panel. And just by eye, you can tell whether or not that, that bit is in line with that divider panel, because you want to ensure that you're drilling straight down into that solid wood. So pre-drill both of those holes. And then the final thing is, with the Kallax in this horizontal position, the bottom panel is actually not flush with the side panels. The side panels stick out just a little bit more. And so with your center legs, we're not only going to send screws, but we're going to send these little black washers, which are the same thickness as that gap. And so once you've pre-drilled your holes, simply put the washers over those holes to act as shims to hold that center support up a little higher. And then we're going to install the screws through the leg, through the washers, into those holes. And because the holes are drilled out deeper, the screw will reach to this solid wood panel. And here's what they look like installed. Now this is the mahogany set, which is this leg, but we also have these available in maple, walnut, and white oak. And you can find all of those on our website at 1600design.com.